All right, next up, Doctor of Horror, starring The Simpsons, Hank Azaria himself. We've got Ben Stein in here, and Ben Stein actually raises his voice and gets angry. He yells at somebody in this, like twice. Couldn't believe it. I've never heard Ben Stein yell in my life. I didn't even know the guy was capable of yelling. Except for the loudest I think I've ever heard his voice in my life is Fry. Fry. It, like, really? I didn't even know he was capable. Anyways, so we've also got Travis Tritt, yes, the country western singer here, which at times, he's fine, and then there's times where he's a little too much, and mostly at the end, and I'll get into that. And then also, the stuttering attorney from My Cousin Vinny. I bring up My Cousin Vinny on here a lot because I just love My Cousin Vinny, but yeah, we got the stuttering attorney. Can't remember his name. He's been in a million things, but anytime I see him, he's that guy on the witness stand. Or he's talking to that guy on the witness stand. Oh man, so fucking funny. Every single second of that movie is perfect. Anyway, so stuttering attorney from My Cousin Vinny, whatever the fuck his name is, is a doctor looking for a soul, and Hank Azaria and Travis Tritt are these security officers that are supposed to be watching over the morgue. And Ben Stein is their boss, and he's telling them, don't let these bodies get snatched. There's been a lot of bodies that have been missing from here lately, and if you guys, let anyone snatch them up, I'm going to fire you, whatever. So, Dr. Kadood comes in, and he's stealing a body. They catch him doing it, and he's like, how about I offer you serious money, like, to let you go? And then they're like, what up? And he's like, $500. And then he wants them to dispose of a ton of bodies. And he's like, no way, man. We're going to need way more than 500. And he's like, well, how much more? And he's like, what do you think? And he's like, well, what do you think? It's like, well, at least 600. That was the doctor laughs out loud. He's just like, what a moron. So both of them are kind of morons, but Travis Tritt's character is more of like a simpleton. And even though there is this moment where he seems to be much smarter than the doctor, because he comes to this realization that I cannot believe the doctor did not come to. So he's looking for the human soul, and he thinks he's found it in the spinal column somewhere. And what he doesn't realize is that and Travis Tritt has to point this out, the simpleton has to point this out to a doctor, like a surgeon, that the reason that he can't find it, and that he did find it in this person, is because they were dead when he was cutting into them, so there's no soul left, and they have to cut into someone who's alive to get this soul out. Really? Like, do you not know how, like, I don't get, like, I'm not saying there is or isn't a soul, but like, in the ideas we have of souls, have you ever heard of souls staying in bodies? Like, after death, like, your soul leaves your body when you die. Like, that's in every religion, that's in everything. So I was like, really? He has to point this out to you? You're looking for the soul and you don't know it leaves the body when it dies? Now, he does say, like, it stays in there for a while, but he's just guessing. So when Travis Tritt brings this to his attention, and I guess it isn't just so much the fact that he didn't think of it, but it's the fact that he cuts into someone living, finds it, and is like, I don't understand. What happened? And Travis Tritt has to be like, oh, the reason is because he's still alive. And it's like, you didn't figure that out for yourself? Fucking Travis Tritt had to tell you that? Really? Okay, sure. You're an idiot. Yeah. This episode is written by the dude who wrote Beetlejuice. That was pretty cool. He also directed this. Hank Azaria ends up being the villain of this. You think it's going to be the doctor, but he ends up being Hank. He's more just about the money and betraying his friend. There is a really cool effect in this. So he decapitates Travis Tritt, and then he comes back, like he throws his body parts down a well or whatever, and then Travis Tritt comes back because in this, when you die without a soul, because they extracted his soul from him before he died. So when you're soulless, you can come back from the dead or whatever. You're like a zombie or something. And he comes back, and it's such a fantastic effect. He is like a decapitated head, and he's walking around, and it's like he's like stumbling, and the head's like falling off. It's like nearly headless Nick from Harry Potter or something. And just the way it looks, the way it's framed, the way that the body movements, the way the head's flopping around, it looks fantastic. What I didn't like about that scene was Travis Tritt's evil voice. That was really, really awful. Like, I thought he was pretty good as the dimwit, character, the simpleton, whatever, the fucking George character or whatever the hell the guy's getting. I know he calls the other guy George from Of Mice and Men. Where did he go, George? But kind of like that character, but yeah, he does this evil voice, and it is so forced. It is so fake, and I hated it. It really took me out of it. And yeah, he was a good guy until he had his soul taken from him. And once you're soulless, you're a bad guy. So he was the only one with morality, and then they kind of stripped it of him. And that's just it. They're both kind of lost souls. Like they even though they have their souls, they're already bad. And he was the good guy, and once they took his soul from him, he then became even worse than them, and that became their ultimate demise, is stealing someone's soul and making them even more soulless than they appear to be. So, yeah. And yet again, lots of cool things to talk about, lots of neat little things to pick around here and there, but overall, I was just like, that was fine. Like, I really liked the decapitated head. I really liked a couple little things, but overall the episode was just like, meh, like that was fine. So 3 in a row. All right, moving on.